So first of all, let's have some few words around why we need archiving or why we need the security in the email. So as I'm sure you all know, the email is number one vehicle when it comes to business correspondence. Every one of us has email. Every one of us is sending email every day and receiving email every day. So this is, of course, introducing a lot of challenges. One of the challenges is how to keep tremendous quantities of email for a long time and still be able to have fast and precise search in that email, because we need to have a look on the email as a business intelligence, as a proof for uh, different regulations for different businesses, etc. And at the same time, we need to be able to secure the email. We need to be able to secure the users who, once they will receive a bad email, it's basically yes and no if they will be clicking on the attachment, if they will be downloading anything, clicking on the link, etc. So it's basically up to them if they will do a mistake. So a good email security means that they will not receive an email with which they can actually do a mistake. So as mentioned previously, let's cover the GFI Archiver as first. The GFI Archiver is a product which is aiming on archiving emails. This is what it mainly is supposed to do. When it comes to archiving emails, I would like to highlight the GFI Archiver is not mail server dependent. Yeah, so this means that it can easily work with the Microsoft Exchange, Office 365, with Lotus Domino, with Iceberg, with Zimbra, with Carrier Connect, as it was presented by Olaf previously. With Carrier Connect, as you saw, it's basically an easy implementation with use of the archiving to the remote address or the journaling. Besides of the mail server independence, GFI Archiver also, as any other archiving tool, has a needed feature, which is a duplication and encryption. So this basically means that if I'm receiving an email and let's say 5 or 10 of my colleagues are receiving the same email, we are not going to store 11 copies of the same email in the store. We are going to save only one copy of that email, and 11 people will have access to that one email. And of course, that one email will be encrypted. What we are seeing in the market is that majority of end users, so I'm not talking about the administrators, I'm not talking about the owners, but really the guys who are doing the day-to-day work behind of the desk. These regular guys, they are basically scared about having the archive. Yeah, because they think that once the email is archived, they will not have the ability to access that email. This is their pay point. Yeah, that is the reason why they are not cleaning their mailboxes, and this is the reason why they are creating huge PST files, which they are of course keeping locally on their laptop. This is, from the business perspective, this is a huge mistake, because at first the PST was developed by Microsoft, and it was designed to be large, around 2 gigs. We know that the regular user has the PST file, for example, with 5, 6, even 10 gigs easily. And those big files will get corrupted. Once they are corrupted, data is lost. And of course, from the compliance perspective, we need to keep that data. From business perspective, we need to keep that data. So how to fix that? Of course, to be able to have easy access. So the people, the regular people using the archives, using the intelligence, will not be scared that once using the GFI Archiver or any other archiving tool, they will not be able to gain access to the emails they sent or emails they received years away. And finally, if you have all this intelligence, in one server, the emails for last 10 or 11 years, the emails from new employees, old employees, or ex-employees, all of these intelligence is there and sitting and waiting to be used. So GFI Archiver is able to deliver a very comprehensive reporting capability, which can easily tell you what is happening. But we will have more details on the reporting part later on. And the same needs to be done on the auditing. So you have huge intelligence which can counter personal data. It can counter business data, company, reseller data, customer data, all these things in one basket. So you need to be able to see clearly what is happening with the data. And for that purpose, the GFI Archiver has an embedded auditing feature. So to sum this up, from any archiving tool, you need to have easy access and you need to have secure data. Yeah. On the right side, we can see all the individual features or the highlights of the product, such as the full Outlook integration, complementary file archiving, web-based graphic user interface, mobile-friendly interface, encryption, uh, granular roles and permissions, access rights, retention policies, both for the email and also for the file archiving, and of course, easy or complex search. So let's have a look on how this is actually working under the hood. So as mentioned previously, GFI Archiver is a mail server independent. So it doesn't really matter what kind of mail server you are using. What matters is if that mail server has a journal-like feature and if it supports IMAP. So as it was shown by Olaf previously, then Carrier Connect very well fits this and has the journaling feature and also has IMAP. But the same applies definitely on the Microsoft Exchange or Office 365 or Lotus Domino. So this is not an uncommon feature. And this makes the GFI archive very strong and be able to approach any environment. So the connection only happens through an IMAP. Once the email will appear in the journal mailbox, it doesn't really matter in this case if it's an ongoing or incoming email. This will be solely driven by the mail server. So if then there is an email, the GFI archiver will connect to the journal mailbox. It will download all the emails which will found in the journal mailbox. It will place them into the pickup folder where they will be processed according to the rules specified in the GFI archiver. Rules such as if you want to archive only certain people, if you want to archive only emails according to certain criteria, for example, subject, body, attachment, you name it. I mean, a lot of different options. Once the email will be pulled from the journal mailbox, then the email will be automatically deleted. So in that case, you need to have, of course, the retention policy set up on the mail server to clean up the trash. So the emails will not just end up in the trash and live there forever. The second thing which is happening once in the pickup folder, the GFI archiver will connect that email to one or multiple users. This is always happening with use of the directory service. So we can use the Active Directory or we can use the GFI directory. The additional way how you can actually archive emails is with use of manual archiving. The manual archiving is utilizing the Outlook integration. So we have a plugin which is called the GFI Archive Assistant. This plugin could be easily deployed in the Outlook, and with use of that plugin, you can just right-click on the chosen item or the folder which you have in your structure in your Outlook and just easily choose where those items will be archived. So to sum this up again, the GFI archiver uses IMAP and journal mailbox to gain access and to the mail server and to perform automatic archiving. The manual archiving is always happening with use of the plugin in Outlook. So yes. So how users can connect? So I mentioned in the beginning that there is a struggle from the user perspective, how I can get access to my archive, how I can find my items, what can I do to search them? So all of these questions could be easily answered by GFI Archiver, where we are actually enabling users to connect to their archive with use of IMAP or IMAP S in that manner, with use of Outlook. So basically your entire archive will appear in your Outlook as another mailbox. So you can directly see that items, you can reply, you can maintain a local cache, you can use multiple options how you can work with the Outlook integration. Then, of course, you can use the graphical user interface, which could be accessible through HTTPS. Or finally, you can use a native RT application for Windows, which looks like this. It's quite fancy, but I mean, honestly speaking, majority of users are using the web GUI or are using the Outlook implementation. So the archiver at the same time is enabling MAPI, which is for the Outlook integration. It's enabling HTTPS, which is used by the archiver native application. Is using HTTPS for the web user interface, and is using IMAP or IMAP-S for the IMAP access for the GFI archiver. So as mentioned in the beginning, there are a few features which I would like to highlight in the bigger details. One of these features is mail insights. So as mentioned, in the archive or any archive in that matter, you will end up sooner or later with a huge amounts of emails. All of these emails, they are having some sort of information. It could be a valuable information from the business perspective, from the personal perspective, or from the team perspective. I mean, you can find different angles on that. Uh, these these information could be processed by the GFI archiver to produce so-called mail insights. The mail insights are easy to understand, easy to read reports, which will answer sometimes a complex information. Complex question. So it could be, for example, who is using inappropriate words. If anyone is searching for a job actively, that means that he's willing actually to resign. If there was any data leakage, if people are, for example, using inappropriate phrases, or if you want to create some sort of email performance indicators, how fast it takes for a certain person to reply to an email, if a certain person is, for example, spamming internal colleagues, how much data he is using on the internal mail server or on the GFI archiver, etc., etc. You have a list of the most used mail insights reports on the right side. Yeah, some of them could be also used for so-called forensic investigation, such as the communication flow. So with the communication flow report, you can track where the communication actually went. So if you have a suspicion that a certain person has leaked, I don't know, a credit card details, or he has leaked I don't know, insurance numbers or things like that, then you can easily find that person and you can track where the email went into, to who specific, to what specific people, or to what specific domain. So you can track this from from a certain time period. So all of this is possible, of course. Another feature which I would like to explain in a bigger detail is the auditing. Yeah. So auditing in this case is a security feature, but I would say it's more like passive security, because the auditing is not intercepting what is happening. You always need to have a look in the GFI archiver or any archiving tool that it's working with the archive. That means that if something happened, information got leaked, it was already done. The damage is there, yeah, because it was done by the mail server. If you want to stop it, you need to have some sort of ongoing policies which will be filtering the content going out from your mail server. So the archiver will always work with what already has been done. But in this case, you need to have a very close look on who is able to access that, who is able to change that, who is able to delete that information or change that information. So for that perspective, we have the built-in auditing feature, which will be able to, for example, track all the changes done in the configuration. So I'll give you an example. You did a mistake and you shared some bad information over the email. So you will go on the mail server, you'll delete the email. Yeah, then you realize that, okay, that email will eventually be archived. So you go into your archive and you'll see that, okay, I want to delete that item, but I'm not able to, because by default GFI archiver is not enabling people to delete stuff. Yeah, the main purpose of archiving is to archive, not to delete. So the person who wants to actually delete his mistake will need to enable deletion first. So he will need to change the configuration. And once he's going to change that configuration, it will be transparently recorded in the audit, is more specifically in the configuration management audit. So everyone who has the access to see the audit will be able to see that person X, Epsilon, Z on that day was changing the option, the deletion. And then later on during the investigation, you can go for the same person and have a look on actually the data integrity or data handling audit over here. And then you'll be able to see that the person searched for the email at a specific day, and also you'll be able to see that person deleted that item. So you can connect all the dots together and actually be able to point fingers on a specific person who did the mistake. So all of this is possible within the auditing feature of the GFI Archiver. After that, we have the advanced search. So of course, it would not be a good archiving solution if you won't be able to find easy, fast, and precise what you are looking for. So the GFI Archiver at the backend, it has a SQL database. So basically, the administrator can choose if only the metadata will be saved in the SQL database or the entire items. Either way, the search will be very fast because it will be happening in the SQL database. In this perspective, we support the full SQL or the SQL Express. The SQL Express, as we all know, is free of charge from Microsoft. However, it's a little bit limited because the single database can only be as big as the 10 gigs. So from that point on, the SQL Express could be used only in the environments with around 300 users. All bigger environments counting thousands of users will require to use the full SQL for their implementation. So that being said, we can go and what are the possibility of search. So we have the possibility of doing a simple search. As we can see on the screen over here, we'll just type in a single word and the search will be done across our archives alone. That means only for my specific user. I will not be searching all the users in the company. If I want to do that, I will need to change the access rights. And of course, changing the access rights will be transparently recorded in the audit as discussed on the previous slide. So the simple search is not actually giving us a huge value. The only value here is that it will be fast. The real value is actually uncovered with advanced search. The advanced search could be done with the use of combinations of includes and excludes. The includes and excludes are different values according to which I'm going to search for the specific items. So it could be a subject, a sender, recipient, send date, receive date, message ID, whole email, etc., etc. There are like 20, 25 different items. So all of these items are actually being processed from the email during the email processing. As I showed you on the previous slide, during the pickup folder, over here, this is exact moment where all these metadata, all these items will be created. And later on, they will be used for searching. Of course, all of these searches, they could be also pre-saved. So on the left side over here, we can see saved searches. So if we are doing something on a regular basis, I don't know, searching for invoices, searching for things which changed or emails from a specific person, then you are all able to pre-save that searches. Also, what you can do is search in the files. So as I mentioned in the beginning, GFI Archiver is not only a solution to archive emails, it's also a solution to archive files. In this case, I have in mind like more like documents, so like PDFs, XLS, Word documents, etc. You can configure all of that. What kind of extensions would you enable for your archiver to eventually archive? But the search could be also done within those files, and also the retention policies and all other features. Besides of the emails, you are also able to also able to archive the calendar, yeah, from the calendar items, because sometimes it might be required by the regulation to also have the calendar items saved for a certain period of time. So that being said, I would only mention that the GFI Archiver has another partial application, which is called the import-export tool. And the import-export tool is exactly responsible for pull the historical emails, for example, from the Microsoft Exchange and load them directly into the GFI Archiver. And also it is able to restore emails from the archive directly into the mail server, regardless if it's a Microsoft Exchange or Carrier Connect or Lotus Domino. And it's also able to export the emails in a format of message, email, or PST file. And well, when it comes to the restore, you can directly also do it from the search. So you can find the email, right click on the email and restore the email directly into the mailbox. So I would say that from the GFI Archiver side, this will be all. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask, and we can cover all these questions at the end of this session. And